Okay, I'll try and get to the point on this next video. We're going to be talking about the King's Cross. We left off last time with the Queen's Cross. One thing I forgot to mention, of course, is the idea, well, maybe I did mention it, I can't remember now. But the Queen, of course, the moon goddess is the Queen. The moon will be crossing, yes, will be crossing the United States on this date here, right? X marks the spot. Okay, so very interesting. One other thing that I don't think I mentioned, maybe I don't think I did, I've got actual pi in here. So this is slightly different to this number here. Okay, this is just the sequence number that I named pi just because it starts 314. If you actually look at pi, the numbers are actually different from that point on. It is kind of interesting that that 59 is kind of there as well, but we've got a 1 in the middle here. But anyway, what we've got going on is there is a synchronicity when you lay these pi numbers out, you know, in alignment with the rest of the table. Again, there's a synchronicity with this 8-9 here. Okay, so I thought I'd highlight that again with the reference to the dam, or the pi being the mother. Okay, really interesting. And again, I'm going to do a video on this. I'll be talking about Madonna with the 229 date. Obviously you can find 922 in here as well in various places. So at some point I'll have to be pretty quick because it's 228 today. Maybe I'll do that video, but 229 was brought up by Journeyman, and I think what he was referencing was the idea that her birthday changed from 228 in a normal year to 229 this year. Okay, the 229th day of the year, and we have that date appearing in February this year, which would normally be 3/1. Okay, that day of the year would normally be the 1st of March, which is kind of interesting because this is the federal birthday of the Hoover Dam right here. So I tell you, Journeyman might have picked a winner there. I don't know. There's so many dates that you could pick from for Madonna, but 229 is definitely relevant. And again, I'll just mention one other thing: is we're dealing with balance here and the crossover to balance. And so again, 922 is usually the date when it's usually the end of Virgo. 922 going into 923, which is the beginning of Libra, the beginning of balance. So 229, 922 it's a strong candidate for sure. I'm going to leave it there for talking about Madonna on that day. I mean, obviously we might go into it a bit more depth if it happens, but again, I'm not, Journeyman, leave me a comment on your logic of why you mentioned that. But I was thinking it was to do with the days of the year. But there's an awful lot of extra little bits and bobs there with, the reference to birthing the one, that's come after, and of course the center of the clock tower with the 1-4, the one that comes every 4 years, again with the leap year, taking that leap of faith, or the leap back to the one. So anyway, I don't know. Enough wiffly waffle. Okay, let's go look at the King's Cross. Okay, I just thought it was worth a mention though, and one last thing. You'll notice that this 62 here is also matched up as well. I don't know what that means. I'm not quite sure what the relevance to that is. Maybe that will be something that will be presented to me later. as a reference somehow. But yeah, kind of interesting that that matches up there as well. So let's go to the King's Cross now, and let's have a look at it and see what's going on in this one. Okay, so all we've done with the King's Cross is the same set of numbers, except all we've done is we've basically took one half of it and plonked it down the other end. So the front half has come down this back end, and what that means is our stop and start point is in the middle now, rather than on each end. Okay, that's the only difference. But what a difference we see is, and this is what highlights how difficult it was to see 9/11 in the last chart, okay, or at least in just the Fibonacci sequence started 1 through to 24. It's kind of difficult to see 9/11, but once you plonk it like this, which is basically what Lambda did, now you can really see it really stands out, and it's right at the center of this thing. Okay, and you know, no doubt we had to have the Wu Flu named that, you know, or if you look right at the center, the number 19. Yeah, so no doubt that had to be, you know, because that's the crown point there, isn't it? That's the head. Okay, or at least when you are crowning, when you're being reborn, the head is popping out of the Vesica Pisces. The head is popping out of this thing, the Vesica Pisces, the number 8 again. So, and yes, the number 19 there in the middle. And you can pick out other people's bits and bobs in here. Let me show you a really quick number jump, because I don't want this to be too long, this video. If we go from 9/11, 1935, okay, and we go, let's do the number jump here. If we go 32,119 days, which is right there within those mixer numbers, it's going to take you to 8/19, which is Matthew Perry's birthday, 2023. So how could you have that number jump just all stuck in there? Brilliant. Again, you can see the heart of this table here. The heart of the table is 1955 for Back to the Future people that know that Doc says something like, there's something about 1955 interesting with the leap back to that year. There's some kind of convergence there. Well, there is in this table, yeah. Again, you'll spot people like Donald Trump's birthday here, 14th of June, if you read that backwards. Here's Harrison Ford's birthday, again, the 31st of, I hope it's the 31st of July, but there it is. Okay. Maybe it's the 13th. I think it's the 31st. I'm not sure. But anyway, those numbers. And there's various other number jumps in here, and you know, there's Matthew Perry's death date there, you know. So what else do I want to say about this is the fact that the center of this one is giving us this. We can pick out the 195 here, the 19th of May. Okay. Again, 195 is heavily referenced in Vegas with all the road numbers and that. And on each hand here, we've got, you know, the 4-8 and the 9-4, or whichever way around you want to put those. But again, in Back to the Future, Marty's hand disappears. Again, which hand is it? I don't know, but these basically are referring to the same thing, I think, you know, because, you know, if you change that, reflect that 5 there, we've got 12:59 reading backwards here, the midnight hour. Okay, it's close at hand, and the death of the hand, the disappearance of the hand, and then the re-emergence. again, it's the same as the sun disappearing here and re-emerging again. So I don't know, it's just a X may mark the spot. What else we got? Notice that all these rows add up to 117. They all add up to 117. That's kind of fascinating because again, with Pluto Christmas, what I'm calling Pluto Christmas on 11/17, again, that's kind of crazy because of the, you know, this is just an amalgamation of that. And what else I want to say about that? Oh, that's what I wanted to say as well, is that these numbers will now, you know, this everything reduces to 9 in these tables, yeah. Everything reduces to 9. So that's kind of interesting. All these will reduce to 9. I have a total over here for the whole table. Look at that, the Vesica Pisces number. 153 fish. It's 1053, but we can look at that in the numerology as 153. 153 fish is, of course, to do with the sacred, sacred geometry of the Vesica Pisces. So that's kind of interesting. And to top that off, if we look at each row, most of the rows are summing to 45, if you can make that out in the light. And then we have 2 rows summing to 36, and we have a row summing to 9 and a row summing to 72. Well, this is fascinating because the rows, if we do the clusters here, there's 7 45s here between this 36 and the 9, and there's 7 45s here to the next 36. So we have 77 encoded here, and if you tot up 7 7 there, these 7 45s, that comes to 315. So we have a double 315. Okay, that's fascinating. And then if you go between 36 and 72 and this other 36, there's 3 45s and another 3 45s. And guess what? Those 33 there, the 33 encoded, that adds up to 135. 3 45s add up to 135. So that's pretty crazy in its own right. Okay, we've got 77, 33 encoded in there, and of course that'll take us back to 110 if we add that together, and which is an 11. Okay, and then we've got the 315, 153, all that encoded in here with the totals. So very fascinating. Another interesting thing to note is that this row of 1s is coming to 9, and the row of 8s is coming to 72. And normally, excuse me, this row of 8s, so with the king's columns we've got the 1s there, but the row of 8s moves over to here for the queen's cross. So what is fascinating is these two are kind of flipping places, so they're kind of joined, if you like. So we have the number 18 referenced, and again, if we look at the totals, that number 18, if we join up these two totals now, we could get to 729, which is the White Wedding, Diana and Charles, 729, the White Wedding. I think it might have been 1981. Was it 1981? Not sure, but that's pretty fascinating. The 18, the formation of basically the formation of 18, or these two things joining together, the 1 and the 8. Okay, and the 8 is basically a donut if you look at it 3-dimensionally. Okay, what else? what else to say here? All of these numbers that have their corresponding numbers, so like 1 goes with 13. These all add up to the number 9. Okay, so if we picked like 3 here, 3 of course would go with 1500 hours, and so what we got the 2 on the 3 column here, sorry, and 2 and 7 adds up to 9 again. Okay, so all these numbers add up to 9 with their corresponding counterpart, apart from, if we look in here, there's some double 9s. Okay, the double 9s don't. So okay, so with Fibonacci, okay, these are going to add up to 18, so they're going to need a double reduction. Okay, they're going to need 2 lots of, there's a double cross basically, because it's 1 cross balances and then another cross to balance again. So a double reduction there needed to get the 99, which is interesting because again this 4-9 date is actually flipping between 99 to 100 this year. So that's fascinating with this 99 reference again and forming the 18. And then we can pick out some numbers here with 24, 12, 12, 24. And again, Queen's birthday in there, and Valentine's Day, St. Valentine's Day. Okay, but we can also look at the next row here, which is Lucas, and we can pick out here the 9, which is in the 7 column, and obviously 17 is 1900 hours in the clock. This is what it corresponds with. So again, 1, I guess I should have written this right, 197 or 791. I mean, have we seen that number before? Yes, with Patrick Mahomes' birthday, etc. Pretty important number. References back with a prime number to 9/11. I can't remember what the actual number is that involves those, but it involves those numbers there. And if we go to pi, let's look in pi. So we've got the 5 there, and let's go across to 5 o'clock, 1700 hours, and again we could go 517 if we wanted, or 175 for that number. And so we're getting some, it's kind of interesting that we've got some numbers out of here with these things joining up, okay, to form an 18. So I think I'm going to leave it there for the video. I mean, I think you can see pretty much all the interesting stuff. I mean, it's just mental that Donald Trump's in here with this whole Pluto return thing right there as well. And it's just fascinating that this is the this could be the 19th of May, which again is the midnight hour on from the 18th, which the 18th is the balancing date between the Queen and man, the King. Donald Trump's been the king once, he's going to try and be the king again. Just fascinating stuff, basically. And again, here's that 458 that is, here's the D for the 49, and here's the 458 that is in the dollar bill there. That doesn't even look like a D. Oh, come on. So fascinating stuff for sure. I'm going to leave it there. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've missed out of here that's really important. I'm not sure. Hopefully not. Hope you enjoyed that one. Obviously there's some other number jumps in here which I haven't covered today. Maybe I'll get around to doing them at some point, but it's really late right now. Hopefully I can get this video out and done. Don't want it to be too long. Yeah, I'll catch you on another one here real soon. Oh, 36, don't forget. That's 360 full cycle. It's all about going around in circles on the merry-go-round, yeah? You ever thought about that? Mary, instead of MERRY for merry-go-round. How about MARY, the merry-go-round? I don't know. Anyway, catch you on another one soon. Cheers, bye.